Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening. You guys hear me okay? What's happening? Well, I think we are indeed live. Just waiting someone in chat to shout that you can hear me okay. Perfect. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Alright, we've got like 7 lists we're gonna go through tonight because of the new codex. There's a shitload of lists being submitted. And because there's a shitload of lists submitted, I'm going to try and do a couple more, so we'll try to be a bit faster. So not too much dilly-dally at the start of the stream. Let's get into some of these lists, because we normally do 5, we're going to try and do 7. We're already 10 minutes late because my kids kept me up, so or kept me busy. So let's start. As always, any questions we'll try and get to in the chat. Please like the stream. If you're new here, every Sunday night we look at army lists. Please subscribe. There's my fancy subscribe banner. You know the drill. Okay. So we're going to start with Wild Ace, who submitted 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I guess at the moment, the submission for the... I think I'm getting like 10 submissions a week. There's a lot of people submitting new lists. So I guess that's why we're going to try and do a couple extra lists. So we've got Astaroth as the Warlord. We've got a Blood Angels Captain with the Rage-Fueled Enhancement. We've got a Sangre Priest. Just 50 points for that Sangre Priest now on foot, which is, I suppose, somewhat interesting. Pity you can't attach to anything other than Assault Intercessors, really. The Lieutenant with the Speed of the Primarch and another Sangre Priest. Okay, so we've got the 10 Assault Intercessors on foot. I'm guessing they're going with the Sangre Priest. We've got 10 Death Company of Jump Packs going with Lamartes. We got 10 Sternguard Veterans. I guess they're going with a Sangre Priest as well. It's not my favourite combo, but I understand that some people think it's strong. We've got Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs in a 10-man. I don't really like these guys in a 10-man. I think they work better as 2 5s. Oh, sorry, this is 2 5s. It's just you put it all together for 160 points. Okay, yeah, I prefer them as 5s. You get an extra Power Fist. The Sangre Priest in the Codex is 50 points. I don't know if it's going to change, but... You're doubting me. You're making me doubt myself now. I'll check my codex. Marius Berger, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Let's see. Where are the points? They're at the very back of the book, aren't they? Sangre Priest is 90 points, so why the hell has he put 50? I think he's maybe thinking there was a leak. There was a leak that was really difficult to read, so maybe that's what he thought. Do you know what? I thought the Sangre Priest with Assault Intercessors, if he was going to be 50 points, might be somewhat good, but at 90, I really don't like it. I don't think he's worth it at 90 points. I mean, he lost his jump pack. Normally, here's the weird thing, right? They usually put on attacks of like 25 points for having a jump pack. You know, like any normal, like. Look at a captain on foot, compare him to the cost of a captain with a jump pack. The jump pack's more expensive, right? So, like, the Sangre Priest just got screwed, kind of. So if those Sangre Priests are both 90, yeah, maybe he's thinking this is from the leak. It probably changes a lot, actually. He's got 2 squads of suppressors. We never see suppressors get played. I'm not actually sure how you use them effectively. You have a squad of scouts, you've got the squad of infiltrators, you've got the ballistas, you've got a land raider, you've got a repulsor. So Astaroth leads the Death Company from Deep Strike, and I'd probably recommend using Rapid Ingress on them. The Captain and the Priest lead the Assault Intercessors. It's the primary target for Red Rampage, giving his whole unit Lance and Lethal, with the Rage-Fueled Warrior and Finest Hour for maximum impact. The Priest bumping their AP1 and granting a Feel No Pain. Yeah, I just think this squad is much worse than it was when it had jump packs. Like, it's okay. It was okay with jump packs, but I think it's much worse now because of the lack of speed. You've got a Lieutenant plus a Priest leading Sternguard Veterans. Overall, they cost a little bit more than the Assault combo, but the Priest upgrades the Sternguard close combat weapons into chainswords. gives them a 5 at feel no pain. The lieutenant grants lethal hits as well as the fallback and shoot. The lieutenant's a weird choice actually, because if you get lethal hits, then you don't get their devastating wounds from their bolters. Speed of the Primarchs, they can get charged and unleash their chainswords. I don't really think Speed of the Primarch is that impactful with chainswords. Like, maybe it's impactful with Sangre Guard, maybe it's impactful with Blade Guard or Terminators, but I don't think I would pay the 30 points for Speed of the Primarch on chainswords personally. And these aren't even chainswords; these are just Strength 4 EP1 attacks, really. The Stern Guard is a primary target of aggressive onslaught, so they can advance, shoot, and charge, which would mean they have a total of 94 attacks with lethal hits. Yeah, I mean, they have 94 attacks. Unfortunately, the strength of all their attacks is 4. And that's my real main problem with it. I guess if you charge, some of your attacks have strength 6. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of strength 4 attacks, they'll kill chaff units, I guess. Do we need to kill chaff units? I feel like Blood Angels chaff units is not really my problems. The Stern Guard should be shooting and charging into your Oath of Moment target. Yeah, I mean, and then you're using Oath of Moment on them. It feels like you have to use a lot here to try and make the Stern Guard work, and no one's really running Stern Guard competitively, so I don't think they're a great unit. Like, if I was playing Sangre Guard and you attack them with the Stern Guard are going to do nothing. You're going to have spent, like, how many points on a squad of Stern Lieutenant for 95 points, a Priest for 90 points. You're going to spend, like, 360 points on Stern Guard. Statistically, they probably do, like, 5 wounds to a unit of Sangre Guard. They might even be less, actually. Especially if you used Armor of Contempt, because they only have 1 AP, right? Yeah, I mean, you put the Stern Guard in a Land Raider. Suppressors, which no one uses, but they double as action monkeys. They also shoot at targets that threaten the assault intercessors of the Stern Guard with their 48-inch guns. 2 units that might try and shoot a charge of the captain and get -1 to hit. I mean, I like the idea of suppressors on paper, but no one uses them because they don't do any damage. I suppose, yes, they can make an enemy -1 to hit. It's fine. I keep wanting to try suppressors, but I don't think I would run more than 1 squad of them. And they are only like 3 guys with toughness 4 for 85 points. It's a lot of points for something that could get wiped fairly quickly. Is it possible to swap out the list to make it a bit more defensive in nature? Swapping out Astaroth and the Death Company for an Impulsor, Chaplain, and Blade Guard, there's like 15 points left. Yeah, but here's the thing, like, Blood Angels are best when you have fast-moving jump units. Like, the strength of the Blood Angels army comes from the fast-moving jump units. That can do damage, right? Like, I feel like you want at least 1 Sangre Guard and 1 Death Company. I mean, if we look at tournament winning lists over the last 6 months, most tournament winning lists have had like 3 squads of Death Company. Not many people are running Sangre Guard, but most people are running 3 squads of Death Company, like a 10 and 2 5s. My tournament list run 10 Sangre Guard and 2 5s Death Company. So I think that Blood Angel, especially now that we can advance and charge, the speed of our units. I mean, the speed of the units is what wins us games, and I guess that's why we don't see too many people running Terminators, because they're slow. We don't see many people running, like, Aggressors, because they're slow. Now, you can use Terminators and Aggressors, same as you probably can use Stern Guard to do something, but, like, no one is really running them in competitive play, so that usually tells you something, right? Like, the competitive players have just deemed them weak, I guess. Yeah, the priest gives AP1 to the Stern Guard. And I guess you get a lot of attacks, but they are mostly strength 4 attacks. They are mostly AP1 attacks, and that's the danger, right? Like, if you have 94 attacks, even if you use Oath of Moment, let's just say you use Oath of Moment, so you have 88% hits. If you fight into Sangre Guard, then you only wound on 4s, and then the Sangre Guard save on 2s. Oh, I think it would be 42 times. So worst case, like that 360 point unit of Stern Guard, 360 point unit it would cost. They'll do like 7 wounds to your Sangre Guard. Is that right? Something like that. And I feel like so you'll kill 2 Sangre Guard, and then I'm pretty sure the 4 Sangre Guard that are left will wipe the entire unit of Stern Guard in one turn. Sangre Guard get 30, and that's you using Oath of Moment. So if you can't use the Oath of Moment, then you only do, yeah, that's what I said. I said you do like 5 wounds to unit of Sangre Guard. And that's excluding the fact that Sangre Guard make you -1 to hit and -1 to wound in melee. So arguably you would be doing even worse because you would be -1 to hit. So yeah, I don't think playing 360 points on the Stern Guard is good enough. Plus they're a slow unit. James just mentioned you forget the -1 to hit from Sangre Guard. You're right, James. So yeah, does it not just feel like you're trying desperately to make Stern Guard work, but no one really uses them? They're not a melee unit, right? And I often talk about, I've talked about it before, when I managed to change my win rate to whatever my win rate right now is, which is kind of stupidly high. I'm trying to think if I've even lost a game since I won the GT. That's a good question. I think I lost one, and I think it was like a 1-point game or something. Oh yeah, I think I lost to, we rematched the final of the GT, and I lost by 1 point. I think that's the only game I've lost since the GT final, which was a rematch of the final, which was super close. So I think probably like, so basically I changed my army to a point where I recommend, and I've done a slide on this, where I recommend like 1,300 points of melee units, right? Like I think I put it in one of my recent videos. I think it was the starting Blood Angels video, right? Shit, what did I call that video? Starting Blood Angels. Like, I made this slide, yeah. Where was it? I think it was something like this, where like, to get the most out of like the melee units for Blood Angels, you need like 800 points of really solid melee, led by about 400 points of solid characters. My win streak bot is not up to date, by the way. It's such a manual process to update that damn win streak bot, dude. But yeah, I mean, like, so if we go back to before the GT, then basically in the last 3 months I've played like 12 games. I've lost 1 game by 1 point, and that was basically a GT final, because like there is not anywhere close to 1,200 points of melee in this list, led by 800 points of melee, led by like 400 points of characters. When I made that change, my win rate went from like 50 or 60% win rate to, I guess, wherever I am at now, 90% plus win rate. So this list, I don't like it, Wild Ace. I'm sorry. I think you need a lot more melee. Like I said, consider 2 or 3 units of Death Company. In the new book, you might want to consider like a unit of Sangre Guard, a unit of Death Company, and a 3rd melee unit. If I look at my list on the tabletop right now, I'm running, what is it, like 400 points of Death Company, 400 points of Sangre Guard, 300 points of Blade Guard, and then a Centurion unit. So my list at the moment has pretty much exactly that, like 1,300 points of really solid melee. If you don't have that, I guess that's like the point in our detachment, right? Like our whole detachment gets +2 strength, +1 attack. You need the units to benefit from that. You need 12 or 1,300 points of units that benefit from that. If you don't have that, you're not going to do well. Let's jump on to the next list. Vasilius. Vasilius, we'll go with that. He's got Mephisto, he's got Dante, he's got the rage-fueled captain with the power fist. He's got another captain with a jump pack. He has a Judisaur, he has a librarian and Terminator armor. Feels like it's a lot of characters. 260, 360 plus another 240. So it's about 600 in characters. Little bit high. Higher than I'd be willing to run for sure. I actually don't know what I'm running at the moment, but I know when I won the GT a few months ago, I had 350. 600 points in characters is a little bit crazy. You got 3 units of Assault Intercessors. You've got Blade Guard. I guess they'll attach to the Judisaur. You've got the Company Heroes, which will probably attach to the Captain on foot. You've got a squad of Infiltrators. You've got Sanguinary Guard to go with Dante. Mephiston's on his own. 2 squads of Scouts. The squad of Terminators with Librarian. The double Impulsor. I guess one Impulsor is for Company Heroes. One Impulsor is for the Blade Guard veterans. Too many characters is not a serious problem in Pariah Nexus. Said who? Vasilius. Said you? 600 points in characters is a lot. I don't think I'd be I don't think I'm comfortable going over 400, right? Like, the way I usually look at it is like Sanguinary Guard are a good example, right? Like, if you were going to run 3 Sanguinary Guard for 150 points, at what point does Dante become better than like 3 Sanguinary Guard, right? Because like 3 Sanguinary Guard have 9 wounds and Dante has 6, right? You know, 3 Sanguinary Guard have 12 attacks and Dante has 9 attacks, you know? So like, I guess Sanguinary Guard actually have 15 attacks if they're charging. So, you know, like 3 Sanguinary Guard, which are 20 points more than Dante, do have 3 more wounds, they do have the same save, they do have like 6 more attacks. You know, so there's a point where like characters become diminishing returns. The characters you've got in this list are good. Like the captain with Rage Fueled with the Company Heroes is pretty great. The Judisaur with the Blade Guard is pretty good. The Librarian with the Terminator is pretty good. Dante with the Sanguinary Guard is pretty good. So like all your characters in this list are good. Just my personal opinion is I would pick one of them and lose it, and I would replace it with I'd probably pick 2, actually. I'd replace it with 2 more units. You know, like the captain with the Thunderhammer and Relic Shield, I guess he's a solo captain. Yeah, like, I don't really know what a solo... Like, there's nothing for him to attach to. So I would probably, in my list, I would just swap him out for Outriders. And... Yeah, I mean, maybe for me, I don't know about... You're still at 500, like, you're still at 500 points of characters, even if you do that. It's a lot, man. The game isn't Hero Hammer. It hasn't been for a while. Actually, you're at 530 points of characters, even. I think you gotta lose one more character. I wouldn't go over 400 in characters. How can I submit a list, says Piney. When this stream ends, put your list as a text file like this into the video description. We can get it in a future show. Eternal Crusader says 6 characters. Yes, it's a little bit too much. A squad can't be one shot by a single Melta gun. That's a good point as well, right? Like a single Melta shot could evaporate Dante, whereas a single Melta shot would only evaporate 1 Sanguinary Guard. So a single las cannon could do the same as well, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't think I would feel... I mean, at least everything in this list, or everything but the Impulsors, I guess, are melee units. So this list has a ton of stuff that benefits from the detachment ability. That is really nice. I just think 600 points in characters is too high. Do you know what? I shouldn't have closed that slide that I had open. because this is my suggestions for your for scoring, right? So it's like you need, if you don't want to bring any heavy support units, just swap out for melee. But you want like 20% as characters, you want 20% as scoring units, and you want 40% as melee, and you can add some fire support. I did say if you don't want to take melee, then just replace these 400 points with more melee units, right? Oh yeah, I mean Dante is good. I'm just trying to say to you, at some point, if you have 6 characters in your list and you're spending, what is he spending, 655 points on characters? At some point you are better dropping some of those characters and just having more units, right? 655 points in characters is kind of insanity, right? I mean, it's not that the characters aren't bad, and like I said, he's got them attached to good units, but I just think it's too much. Like, I mean, he does have a good number of scoring units here, like 2 impulsors, 2 scouts, 3 assault intercessors, but I just think it's too many characters. But maybe it's fine. My suggestion to make this list better would be to lose some characters, but hey, I'm not infallible. I don't play that many characters. I think I've tried. I think any time I've gone above 400 points in characters, I've just felt like it's too much. So my sweet spot at the moment is somewhere like 350. I've been running that for a while. I won a grand tournament at 350, so 350 seems to work for me. How do you write a list? Using the supplement or using New Recruit? My last lists were literally wrote in Excel, but once Games Workshop update the app, Gavin, I'll just make my list in the GW app because it's free to make a list. You get one list for free. I really only play one army, so one list is fine. And you can export it into text and save it or whatever. I know compared to the Impulsor, the Executioner Repulsor is too expensive, but could have a role in our Blood Angels list. If so, which gun? I think if you're going to run a Repulsor Executioner, the laser is the better idea than the plasma, because the plasma isn't very good against armor. But the Repulsor Executioner is not a great tank, in my opinion. I think the regular Repulsor is actually better. Having played the regular Repulsor and the Executioner multiple times now, I prefer the regular one. It's got better transport capacity. It still has some las cannons on it. Jim says it's not as bad if a couple of characters have loan op. I mean, it isn't as bad, Jim, but I guess, like, I my list, what have I got? I've got a cat. No. I've got a Chaplain. I've got Astaroth. I've got Dante. Is that it? That might be all I've got. Unfortunately, my list doesn't exist at the moment in the GW app because I know my tournament winning list had Dante, a captain, and 2 chaplains with jump packs. So that was basically like 350. And yeah, now I have Astaroth, Dante, and a chaplain. That's it. I only take 3 characters, so 335 points. So this list's literally 10 points away from being double my number of characters. So by having so many less characters, I just got a lot more squads, right? So it is what it is. Does having 2 times 10 Death Company bad? No, I think you can have 10 Death Company leaned by 10 Death Company led by Astaroth, 10 Death Company led by Lamartas, I think is totally fine. I mean, I think if you're doing 2 10-man Death Companies, you might struggle to fit Sangregard in the game, in the list as well. If you're trying to bring fire support, otherwise, if you're not bringing fire support, it's probably fine. But I think the trick with running 10 Death Company is you have to you probably have to kill what you're charging and then have a brilliant consolidation or have CP left over for Armor of Contempt or something, because 10 Death Company have an awful big footprint and they're probably going to overkill what they jump into. So you just have to be careful with that. But no, I mean, I think it's very possible to run 2 times 10 Death Company. So basically, the strongest tournament lists in the last 6 months were probably 1 squad of 10 Death Company led by Lamartez, and then 2 5-man squads of Death Company, either led by a chaplain on jump pack or not led at all. Okay, so this is the next list for tonight. This is by Daniel, and he is running Astaroth, a captain with the speed of the Primarch. This is on foot. A captain with a jump pack with rage. Lieutenant with combi weapon. A squad of intercessors. 2 units of assault intercessors with jump packs. Blade guard. Death Company with jump packs. 2 units of inceptors with plasmas. Infiltrators. Sanguinary guard. Who's he got leading the Sanguinary guard? A captain, okay. 2 units of scouts and the repulsor. Okay. Do I run plasma pistols on the Death Company? I mean, I run a couple of plasma. In the new book, all you're going to be allowed to run is 2 plasma pistols and 2 infernal pistols, right? So yes, I think if you should do that, if you can do it. Okay, so Inceptors and Deep Strike. Sanguinary Guard and the Jump Captain would be inside the Repulsor. That's a pretty cool combo putting them in there, I must admit. I'm doing the same with Dante. Captain plus Blade Guard would jump in the Repulsor after the Sanguinary Guard come out. Cool. The intent is to have the Sanguinary Guard 15-inch plus D6 advance and charge, and then the Repulsor and the Blade Guard would hopefully take off for another objective. I'm basically doing the same thing, so this is a valid tactic, right? The Sanguinary Guard get extra movement out of the Repulsor, they get really good threat range, and then something else goes inside the Repulsor as soon as they jump out. They're probably going to jump out in turn 2. Yeah, I think you're right. 2 plasmas. Is it just 1 infernal? Maybe it's... I thought it was 2 plasmas, 2 infernals in the 10 gym, but I need to double check. The Blade Guard have the once per game fight first, because their job would be to hold whatever objective they have planted on the whole game. Yeah, if you're doing the once per game fight first on the Blade Guard, my opinion of that is you should use a chaplain to lead them, because the chaplain is batshit crazy strong. They're just really, really good led by a chaplain. I've done it 2 games in a row. I think they've been MVP basically both games. Astaroth and Death Company would probably be in Deep Strike. Yeah, I mean, you should always Astaroth and Death Company in Deep Strike and Rapid Ingress them. Was thinking to have this Angelic Host. I don't think this needs to be Angelic Host. I think it'd be stronger in Liberator Assault Group. I guess just if you were doing more than 6 Inceptors, I'd maybe get on board with Angelic Host, but I think this is honestly a stronger list in Liberator Assault Group. In terms of anti-armor options, what would you say about these options? Centurions with missile launchers and las cannons, assault Centurions with meltaguns, bolters, grenade launchers. They only ever make combat in theory. They should do really well in the target, or 2 annihilators, all las cannons. So I didn't like Devastator Centurions before we got fall back and shoot. Now that we have that makes them a lot tastier. So, because these guys used to not be able to fall back and shoot, which was a big problem. But they can do that now, so it makes them a lot more interesting. Assault Centurions are great. I'm not convinced you need a 6, because 3 Assault Centurions for me have just been tearing shit up week on week. I mean, last week, like, 3 Assault Centurions did like 50 wounds to... They did like 20 wounds to one knight one turn, and they did like 30 wounds to another knight another turn. So I'm not convinced you need 6 Assault Centurions. You can probably get away with 3. The Assault Centurions I was using to put in the Repulsor, kind of like what you said here about putting the Blade Guard in the Repulsor. So maybe if you're going to include Centurions in your list, you maybe want to consider... An
War
impulsor?
Thunder donated $5 via Super Chat. John, I think GW should consult you with all matters Blood Angels.
Thanks, War Thunder. I appreciate the vote of confidence. I don't think they're going to, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. Thanks, dude. Predator Annihilators are good. I actually think Predator Destructor is a really good tank as well. It'll be interesting to actually know what's more reliable, because the Destructor's autocannon ends up getting 6 shots a bunch of times, and 6-3 damage shots are very, very powerful. I did 9 wounds to like a Grey Knight, Dread, what the hell are they called? The Dread Knights? Grandmaster in a Dread Knight, or whatever it's called. I did 9 wounds to one of them with the Predator Destructor autocannon. Inceptors with Plasma were junk, though. Neil says he played the Chaplain plus the Blade Guard yesterday and they kicked ass. 15 Berserkers and a Judgment Lord Hive Tyrant all went down, only died to a unit of Scorptex plus the Lord. Yeah, I mean, the Blade Guard seems super strong led by that Chaplain. I think that inside an Impulsor is going to be like one of the core things that I'm probably going to be playing in the next 6 months. Yeah, Inceptors are good. I think this list is better in Liberator Assault Group because your Sangry Guard will do more. Astrath will likely do more. Your Blade Guard will just be really strong. I would swap out that Captain for a Chaplain. You save yourself 20 points here as well. Double Scouts, double Inceptors. If you were struggling in this list, right, and you kind of answered your own question down here with Assault Centurions, I would drop what I would do would be swap out this Captain for the Chaplain, Speed of the Primarch Chaplain, that saves you 20 points. Drop 1 unit of Inceptors, that saves you 130 points. That gives you 150 points. Use that 150 points to put the 3 Centurions into the list. I'd probably prioritize putting my Centurions inside the Repulsor to get them across the board and just have the Blade Guard run. Centurions can't run because they walk 4 inches. But yeah. Jim doesn't want to try with 3 Destructors and 3 Annihilators so bad. I mean, I guess if you want to do that, you want to be playing Gladius though, right? Let's move on to the next list for tonight. This is from Matt. I think I saw Matt in chat earlier. I could be wrong. Wall of Vision says that he just got back from his first ever tournament. Win, loss, win. With Sisters, he's now going to build a Death Company army. Well, congratulations on getting to your first event, man. And 2 wins out of 3 in your first event is not too bad. It's super hard to get unbeaten at an event. Took me like 6-7 years to get unbeaten. Okay, so we've got Sanguinar, we've got Dante plus 6 Sangry Guard. This is an Angelic Host list. We've got the Jump Chaplain plus 6 Sangry Guard. We've got 3 Sangry Guard on Mephiston. I'd probably go with a 3 Sangry Guard here over Mephiston, just because Mephiston can't be picked up and put back down like the Sangry Guard can. We've got 2 units of 6 Inceptors. 1 unit's Bolters, 1 unit's Plasmas. I'd honestly not run Bolter Inceptors because, I mean, they're a good unit, but they're so expensive. And if you come into certain armies, like Knights, or any army with a lot of armor, like Toughness 7 and above, the Bolter Inceptors are super underwhelming. For the amount of points you pay for them, they won't be able to kill anything. So I think if I was going to run Inceptors and I want to do, I would run Plasmas just because I think it gives you some options, right? You can overcharge and at least do some damage to armor, whereas I think the Bolters just bounce off armor. You got Scouts, Infiltrators, 2 units of Jump, Assault Intercessors. This sits at 960 points. Mephiston on a second Scout unit over the 3-man Sangry Guard, bump it to clean 2000. I think you'd be stronger with the 3 Sangry Guard, I think, but There are multiple units. I suppose you do need sacrificial units, so maybe another unit of scouts here isn't actually too bad. You need multiple options for sacrificial units to trigger the full reroll strat, which will gracefully increase the damage output, but otherwise it can score everywhere, yes. I will need to play with the plasma bolters to get a good feel. Yeah, I took bolters to a tournament, and I really regretted it when I had to play against Guard and I had to play against Knights, and in those two matches they were really, really bad. Because, like, what are they, like, strength 5? So I was only wounding on 6s, period, against the Knights. So even with twin linked, I think I dropped them in to kill a Knight with, like, 1 wound, and they didn't even do 1 wound to it. And then the Knight turned around and shot all 3 of them off the table. It was absolutely tragic. Unfortunately, I will be at the event for the next 2 weeks, so I won't be able to watch live, but I'll definitely get the VOD. Yeah, I mean, I think your choice is really, you want Mephiston or the Sanguinar. I'm not sure you take both. 2 units of Scouts, 2 units of Jump Assault Intercessors, the 2 units of Inceptors you'll pick up every turn. I've seen a few lists like this, right? And what you're doing is you're putting a huge, like, Dante and this other unit of Sanguinary Guard need to kill so much stuff in this list, right? Because those 2 units are like 800 points. And then your Receptors are like 500 points. The problem is these things will kill like infantry really easily. They'll kill elites really easily. But when you come up against vehicle heavy enemies, that's when you're going to have real problems in this detachment. And that's why maybe I was thinking like something like twin linked. With, you know, twin linked las cannons or something in this detachment to be able to deal with armor, because I think that's the... I guess we'll see if some people start winning tournaments with lists like this, but you know what the last guy said, 260 points. Well, 260 points is literally the cost of 6 Inceptors. So you could drop those Bolter Inceptors, put in 2 Predator Annihilators, and then at least you know you've got 6 las cannons at 48 inches. So you could just be like, right, all I need to do with my las cannons is focus down enemy armor. Don't need to shoot anything else, because we know the Sanguinary Guard can deal with everything else. We know some Inceptors can deal with other things, Jump Assault Intercessors, etc. But having like 2 Annihilators may be actually what you need. And I suppose that's why, newsflash, 2 Gladiator Lancers is very good in Blood Angels. We know this. Don't forget the Centurions could advance, shoot, and or charge. Yeah, I mean, shooting Centurions aren't too bad at charging, but I think you actually want them to be fairly far away from the enemy. God damn it, I almost killed that fly. Get him! I got him. There we go. Yes, shooting Centurions don't really want to be getting in combat, because you're probably, if you end up with them in combat, you're probably going to want to fall them back, and Gladiator Lancers or Land Raider Crusader? Lancers. I actually just commissioned my 2nd Lancer, so I'm going to have 2 as well. At the moment, I'm still using Predators because I like Predators, but I do think that the Firstborn tanks are not long for this world. I think by the time we get to 11th edition, I'll be very surprised if any of the Firstborn tanks still exist. As sad as it is to say, I think they will all go to Legends. So that's why I commissioned a 2nd Lancer this week. It's what it is, I guess. But we already know, like, a lot of the best Blood Angels tournament winning lists just take double Lancer. It just gives you 4 strength, 14 shots. You know what we haven't seen, actually, is we haven't seen that many people play Vindicators, and Vindicators got quite a bit better. Because of the new detachment rules, right? Because one of the biggest problems with Vindicators was they couldn't advance and charge. Not advance and charge, advance and shoot, sorry. And they can now. Do you think they'll drop Land Raiders in 11th? It's a tough one, Peter, but I think that I think the Land Raider might be the only tank they don't drop. I think every other Firstborn tank, all those like if you put like a Predator next to all the Primaris models, they're like tiny and dinky, right? I think all the sort of like dinky chassis ones will be gone. Land Raiders, couldn't tell you. Games Workshop don't tell me anything. But I think the dinky ones are probably they're on borrowed time now, right? Alright, let's look at Alexander's list. He has Liberator Assault Group, and he has Astaroth with the 10 Death Company. We've got a Captain with Assault Intercessors in the Impulsor. We've got Ragefield Warrior on this. We kept the Power Fist. I think I'm actually going to do a video on how the Power Fist compares to the new Chainsword, but cool. We got the Chaplain with the Blade Guard in another Impulsor. This is good. We're going to say we've got the Judiciar plus Blade Guard in a third Impulsor. Okay, we're going heavy on the Impulsors. I kind of like it. I haven't been able to try this myself. I don't have 3 Impulsors, but I think Impulsors are a great unit. Very, very strong. Get your units into the middle of the board turn 1, and Blade Guard are very, very useful. Especially led by the Chaplain or the Judiciar, so we get double fight first here. We got the Captain Bomb. We got Astaroth's Death Company in reserve. So this is good so far. We've got double assault jump intercessors, we've got infiltrators, we've got outriders, we've got scouts, and then we've got double lancer. I mean, what do you want me to say, Alex? Like, you've literally just built the list that you know, like, you've obviously been watching my show because you've put fucking everything in. We've got that double lancer, so we've got long range anti-armor. We've got Outriders, Scouts, 2 units of Jump Assault Intercessors, and 3 Impulsors, giving us 7 scoring units. We've got Infiltrators to hold our backfield. We've got 12 Blade Guard. Both units have Fight First that'll be in the midfield. We've got the Captain, Mortal Wound Bomb with the Assault Intercessors. And we've got Astaroth with 10 Death Company, who you're going to Rapid Ingress with. I got nothing. I got nothing on this. This is perfect. Is it the best list Blood Angels can build? Possibly not, but does it bring everything that you need to the table? 100%. I mean, I don't even want to change any of your enhancements. Like, they're just the right ones. The only change that you could possibly make would be Astaroth to Lamartez if you wanted to be ever so more slightly defensive with the Death Company. You want the Death... But the thing is, I feel like you don't need to be defensive with the Death Company if you've got 3 Impulsors, which have friggin' 12 Blade Guard, and the Captain Assault Intercessor Bomb. You've got enough coming out, and you've got enough transports that can sit on objective. No Fuck says Blood Angels with Outriders and a Chaplain is expensive, but it's one of my favourite units. I don't know, I've never tried the Outriders or the Chaplain, actually. GDI says, why Infiltrators and Scouts? Not either or. No, Infiltrators will hold your backfield, make it completely secure, the enemy won't be able to deep strike in there. So that's really, really strong. And then Scouts can hold a side field objective, forward deploy, pick up, put down every turn, score points. Yeah, do you know what? I was going to say, well, one, I don't have 12 Blade Guard. I think I've got 10. I don't have 3 Impulsors. But yeah, if I had all these models, I would try this list. This covers a lot of bases, Alex. A long time ago, we used to do my favourite list of the night. When the show first started, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and only reviewed like a couple of lists. I feel like this list wins my favourite list of the night. Well done. I think you gotta let me know how you get. Ideally, you gotta run it as a tournament now. You've built the perfect list. Now you need to practice it 20 times. Maybe not 20, but at least 10, and then you got to take it to a tournament. I think Blood Angels Outriders with a Chaplain is the same cost of 1 unit as Jump Assault Intercessors with a Chaplain. Yeah, it's probably similar. See, I see Outriders more of a nuisance unit than necessarily a damaging unit, but I guess the Chaplain does make them a bit better. It gives them devastating wounds, gives them +1 to wound all the time, so, I mean, that is something. Guys, we got 102 people live in the chat tonight, and we've got 38 likes on the video, so if the 65 people that haven't hit the like button yet, I would certainly appreciate it. What about suppressors? -1 to hit with Lamartes. And also, I think you've got it a little bit confused. Lamartes is -1 damage. So he's really good against 2 damage or 3 damage weaponry. Do you know what? Not many people try suppressors. And I don't really know why, because like you said, -1 to hit on... You know, if the enemy has Angron or something and you're 48 inches away and you could hit Angron with -1 to hit, it'd be pretty meaningful. Same as you could hit, like, I don't know, a unit of Death Guard Terminators or something, or a big Knight. Yeah, do you know what? Like, if the enemy has a Castellan Knight, you'd probably be quite willing to sacrifice the 3 suppressors to give that Castellan -1 to hit with its crazy volcano cannon and all that for 1 turn. So yeah, it's weird. Not many people play suppressors. I don't play them, I must admit. I don't think they look too bad on paper, but we just don't see them played. Maybe they're a difficult unit to play. Maybe I'll get to playing them at some point, but I guess at the moment... we'll see. Okay. Boven Intervention is the next list. So we've got 3 jump pack captains. One has the Gleaming Pinions. This is Angelic Host. We have 2 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. We've got the 2 big Inceptor squads. They're both plasmas. We got 2 Sanguinary Guard squads. We got 2 Suppressor squads. Suppressors, when, like... It's a weird one, right? Your huge form of damage output in this list is the Sanguinary Guard, who are already -1 to hit. You do have double suppressors, I guess there's -1 to hit in shooting as well, and then you've got 10 Vanguard Veterans, you've got that Navigator. For anyone who's not familiar with the Navigator, he is a single unit from an Imperial Agents, and what he does is he has the same deep strike denial that... the infiltrators have. So basically there's a 12-inch bubble of deep strike denial. It's just 1 model. So he's 75 points for just the 1 model. Yeah, reinforcements cannot be set up into 12. So he's doing the same thing. He's basically T3, 3 wounds. But I guess he's a you know, like, personally, I think that you should try and find the 25 more points and have the whole squad of infiltrators, because it gives you a lot more space. Are drop pods any good now? I don't think so, man. We don't really see anyone using drop pods. They used to synergize well with like Devastator squads with multi-meltas. That used to be the way to play the drop pods. 2 5-man multi-melta Devastator squads with cherubs, but I guess multi-meltas don't have the same killing power they used to because of the reduced strength, so we don't see them. I don't use drop pods personally. I've got one that's brand new on Sprue. I've never taken out its box. Normally, if I've not taken out the box, it means it's not that competitive. I'm afraid to say. So you got the single Navigator. You've got the 2 Suppressor squads. I guess they join because of Angelic Host. You can lift up your Inceptors. You can lift up your Suppressors every turn. You got the 2 Sanguinary Guard squads, both led with a captain. I guess your 3rd captain is leading 10 Vanguard Veterans. Okay, so yeah, I mean this list probably comes to the same point that we were at before with Angelic Host, right? Like, I think Angelic Host seems good, but what happens when you play against Knights? For example, your Assault Intercessors wound Knights on 6s. Your Inceptors wound Knights on 5s. Your Sanguinary Guard wound Knights on 5s. I suppose you're suppressed. So there's nothing in your list that can wound a knight on better than 5s, Darren. And that's my problem with this detachment. Yes, you can get rerolls to wounds, but you can never get +1 to wound, right? So maybe one of the things that we talked about before was like maybe one of the ways you can make this detachment stronger would be chaplains. But I would probably rather a chaplain attached to the Vanguard veterans than the captain, right? Because the chaplain just gives me +1 to wound. So at least... but then you're only strength 5. So you're strength 5 with +1 to wound. I mean, you still have statistically, you would have better... You would... Yeah. It's tough, man. Yeah, no, this detachment, I think, will score a lot of points. It'll be tricksy. It'll be difficult to deal with. But I think it'll come unstuck against certain armies. Nuke says, I want to submit my list, but after watching the video from last Sunday, the list you praised was almost identical to mine. Vindicators over Lancers, Lamartas over Astrath, Ball Predator over Blood Angels Captain. I mean, it's worth submitting it, Ben. It does no harm. Thank you for always being optimistic through the highs and lows, GW puts us wrong. I mean, I don't really have a choice. I only play one army, dude. I don't have time. I spent my whole afternoon washing those damn assault intercessors, and they're still not finished. So I think I must have spent like 40 hours on this last 5-man squad of assault intercessors now. Like, I just want them to be finished so fucking bad, but they're like at least 5 hours from being finished. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to play Angelic Host at some point, but I'm in no rush to do it just because I think Liberator Assault Group is better. And I think if your whole army, if you come up into an enemy where your whole army is going to wound on 5s, you're generally just going to have a bad day. Because I don't feel like anything in this list has a massive weight of attacks where you've got no tools. You have literally no tools that can like circumvent those wounding on 5s. You can now get lethal hits like on 1 unit per turn, but I don't think it circumvents that. So as such, I just don't like it. Mario says, I like the Navigator in this list. Might be better in a 1k list. Infiltrators can spread out a bit more. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Navigator's fine. Like, maybe I'm just picking at the I mean, the thing about having, I suppose, the Navigator is another unit can join him in the backfield because you can pick up and put units down. You can give them precision. Sure, you can gain lethal hits and precision, but there's nothing to give you +1 to wound. I mean, the only option, I suppose, would be to give the Sanguinary Guard the spears to get +1 to wound, but statistically, because they get 1 less attack, I mean, I'd probably like this list more on Angelic Host. But, sorry, not Angelic Host, the other one, Liberator Assault Group. But if I was running in the Liberator Assault Group, I'd probably lose, like, we talked about it earlier in the video as well, probably lose 1 squad of Inceptors and put in, like, 2 Predators. Do you know what I would probably want to see? Like, an Angelic Host list that has double Gladiator Lancer, right? Like, maybe that's the missing bit to the puzzle. So when you do fight against Knights, every turn, your 2 Gladiator Lancers outrange the Knights. Because Knights have, like, a really good Melta gun, but it's only got, like, 24-inch range, if I'm correct. Maybe it's 30 on the Melta? And then they've got autocannons. My Gladiator Lancers are not overly worried about autocannons, right? I mean, they will do some damage, but you're not going to kill a Gladiator Lancer with an autocannon. Warglavy, is it 30 inches? No, it's 24. Okay. So yeah, so your 2 Lancers would sit as far back on the map as they possibly can. And every single turn, the 2 Lancers focus fire down 1 Knight. If you get lucky, maybe 1 Lancer kills 1 Knight in 1 turn, and, you know, you got lucky, you can maybe kill 2 knights a turn. But I guess my point, and you outrange them, right? You never let them get within 24 inches, so they can never shoot back at you. And I think that's maybe the missing piece of the puzzle for Angelic Host. You need something in there that's just going to be like, this is going to deal with armor. And at that point, they're going to have to go after your armor, so you can use all your other tricksy maneuverability stuff to take over the map, or score points, or intercept them. Chaplains are required for Angelic Host, I feel, for the +1 to wound. I agree, Jim, but they can't attach to the Sangre Guard, and unfortunately the Sangre Guard are the ones that get the stratagems. So Angelic Host is a bit of a... It's going to be a tough detachment. What's the best anti-tank to take in the new codex? Probably 2 Gladiator Lancers, Reed. I think that's probably what we'll see most people running. The only reason I didn't run them to a tournament was because I still have Firstborn tanks, and for at least now, Firstborn tanks are still valid. So I ran those. But I guess if I didn't run those, I'd probably be looking at 2 Gladiator Lancers, and I think that's what we see possibly most people in the competitive scene using the double Gladiator Lancer. It just gives you options, right? And I forget the range on... I think the Lancer's range is 72 inches. I mean, I use the Predators, which is 48 inches, and that's fine, right? Like, if you've got a tank with 48 inches, you keep it 48 inches away, and you shoot every turn. You know, it is 72 inches on those Lancers. You get to reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage on the main cannon. So Strength 14, AP 4, D6 plus 3. So it can do 18 damage. So 2 Lancers can potentially do 36 damage at 72 inches range at AP 4 every turn. Beretta's been running the company heroes in lag. I love them, man. They're really good, actually, for 95 points, aren't they? I'm glad someone else is enjoying the company heroes. Vindicator tanks are okay as well. Yeah, I mean, if you've got double Vindicator tank, that's a good combo as well. It's a little bit harder to play because the Vindicators have the same problem that I just talked about, where things can outrange them. But Vindicator tanks are good. They have a better save. They have more toughness than the Lancer as well. I think the Lancer's T10, Vindicator's T11. Yeah, so they're a little bit more costly. They're a little bit harder to play, but Vindicators are totally fine. If anything, my experience of using Vindicators is they usually do a lot of damage, because if you've got 2 of them with Oath of Moment shooting the same target, it just blows things away, right? Alex, you're more than welcome. You know you're more than welcome. Thanks so much for the super chat and supporting the channel. You did well. You've been watching. You literally made the perfect list. Big Hero 6 says that he likes company heroes as well. Yeah, they were like my ace in the hole at that GT, because no one knew how to deal with or not no one knew how to deal with them. Nobody realized how tanky they were, right? They're like a 95 point unit that has 16 wounds, 4 wounds per model, and permanent -1 to wound. For 95 points, you know, if you compare them to heavy intercessors, they're 5 points cheaper than heavy intercessors. They've got 1 more wound, and 4 wounds is a good number, I guess. What's our best Alpha Strike unit? I think it's Dante plus 6 Angry Guard, or Astrath plus 10 in Rapid Ingress. You could argue that a Librarian with Terminators would be good Alpha Strike in Rapid Ingress. Just much harder to hide Terminators because they're much larger bases as well. I think statistically now the Terminators might actually have... If you have the Librarian attached to the Terminators, that might be the most potential damaging unit, right? Because Librarian gives the Terminator sustained. If Oath of Moment is used on those Terminators, they get +1 to hit as well as Oath of Moment. So And then the librarian can get lance and lethals. Yeah, I think potentially the unit that would do the most damage now. I was going to say Dante plus 6 Sangre Guard against 10 Terminators with the librarian would be about the same number of points, but I think the Terminators would just slightly edge it. Yeah, don't forget Sangre Guard are the same bases. Yeah, but you're trying to fit 6 Sangre Guard in where you're trying to fit in like 10 Terminators, right? Brett has been playing 3 Sangre Guard. My problem with only running 3 Sangre Guard is you lose one of their buffs, right? Because you're not attaching a character to them. It's a little bit annoying. I guess it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I think the Terminators would edge it just because they have higher strength and they'd have more attacks. They wouldn't have that many more attacks though, right? But I suppose they would have sustained. So yeah, they'd have like 44 attacks sustained. So yeah,
Meticulous Chaos donated $10 via Super Chat. Absurdly broad question. Starting from scratch, how would you build a balanced BA army to 2k points that can see play in all available SM detachments? Some flavor but not all in on DC and SG.
You want to play in all detachments, dude. I don't know if you can do that, Meticulous Chaos. Yeah, I'm not sure you can build one that can play all detachments, because some of the detachments are a bit weird, like Storm Lance buffs like bikes, and there's only like bikes and flyers, and there's only like a few bikes and flyers. What I can give you though, if you go into you come over here onto the actual like Blood Angels Commander YouTube channel, and you click on playlists, and you find the playlist that is tactics. And you skip the ads. Well, actually, don't skip the ads because then I don't get any money. But no, you watch the ads, and then so there was this video I made just recently, starting Blood Angels in 2024. Right, that one used Death Company as a base to start, but then there was another one that I made. Where is it? There's this one called Army Listing Blood Angels. That'll be a good one to look at. And then there was this other one where I made like starting with Primaris only army lists. This one as well. I guess like this one's not going to build you the strongest army in the entire game, but what it's going to do is it's going to let you know, because like a lot of Blood Angels models have been retired in the last 6 months. So my thought was like, in that video, try and build stuff only using new models. And the Primaris, when I made this video, there was no Primaris Sangre Guard, there was no Primaris Death Company refresh. So I was doing stuff like Blade Guard. I actually think it's been a long time. Let me just see what actually is in this video. Sorry about the ads. So yeah, I started doing stuff like more generic, right? So like Infiltrators, Scouts, Heavy Intercessors, Plasmas, Ballista Dreads, Blade Guards. So none of these are really Blood Angels units, but you could use it to build a pretty good Blood Angels army. I think I did this video in 2 parts. Like it was like the first 1,000 points and then the second 1,000 points, where I put in like dreadnoughts and tanks and aggressors. So yeah, like you'd want to like combine those 2 videos together, right? Like you'd want to watch it, you'd want to pick but starting you want to start from a You've broken me here, actually. Yeah, I'm trying to answer your question. I guess that Primaris only video was intended for people that wanted to start Blood Angels when we didn't have the new refresh models, because no one wanted to buy models that were going to basically be legends or basically removed from the game in 6 months' time, right? No one wanted to do that. And I don't want to recommend to do that either, because it kind of sucks when... like, I have a display case behind me that's absolutely full of legends. It's actually not big enough anymore. I've got too many legends now. So I'd have a look at that video. Pick and choose what you want from it. Did anyone notice the new Combat Patrol wasn't listed as a pre-order? I did notice that. So do you think they're going to sell us all the individual pieces at full price, Skillcon, first? And then they're going to release the Combat Patrol after everybody's already bought some stuff? If they are, I don't really like that, I guess. I was going to do a video on that tomorrow night. I was going to just quickly go through the community article and pull something together. Just like a hot take, first impressions. I have all the current and will be getting all the new Blood Angels kits. I just don't want to be locked into one style Blood Angels army. Then you should watch the video I made like last week. That one that I mentioned, starting Blood Angels. Because I don't play Blood Angels as a melee-only army, right? Like, a lot of people do play Blood Angels as a melee-only army. Like, that's... In the competitive scene, people see Blood Angels primarily as a melee-only army, and that is how some people would recommend you play Blood Angels as melee-only. I've never, like, agreed with that, or I've never really endorsed that. Last edition I ran my Blood Angels with lots of Dreadnoughts. This edition I've run them with lots of tanks. And it was like a pet peeve of mine when people would tell me, people would tell me I don't know how to play Blood Angels. Like, I still occasionally get those comments on YouTube, like, I've got quite a few subscribers now, and occasionally people come into my comments and be like, John, you don't know what you're talking about. This is what you should be running. So it was kind of, I was actually really wanting to win a tournament.
McFadden donated $5 via Super Chat. Did somebody say a list for every detachment? I think I found my next meme submission. Think I'll call it 6 Combat Patrols Sharing an Apartment.
6 Combat Patrols Sharing an Apartment. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, McFadden, you do make some pretty funny lists. As long as there's not like 100 flamers in the list, McFadden, we'll be fine, right? Yeah, so I really wanted to win a tournament, not using all melee. So my tournament list that I won with had Predator Destructors and Ballistus Dreadnoughts, and I really don't know if that many competitive Blood Angels players ran. Well, I don't think any of them except me running Predator Destructors and Ballistus Dreadnoughts, but I proved that you can do it, right? You'll check out the videos. You just wanted to give me $10. I appreciate the $10 super chat. I really do. Thank you so much. It's always nice to see some new faces in chat. Here's the thing, though, Meticulous Chaos. You can have a look at those videos and submit me something, and I mean, call it 6 Combat Patrol Sharing an Apartment, or give it a funny name so I remember it's you. Challenge accepted. Win a GT with an aircraft only list. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you know what would be actually funny is, like, intercessors are 80 points. Assault intercessors are 75 points. How many intercessors could you get in 2,000 points? 26 times 5. So you could just have 133 intercessors. I mean, I guess you would struggle into armor. Maybe it's like 100... it's like 110 intercessors and 2 gladiator lancers. That's the list. That's what you're allowed. Okay, we're going to jump into Brennan's list next. He played Sons of Sanguinius for the first time at the South African Nationals this last weekend. He went 4-1 and finished 4th place. So we'd love to have a look at his list. I understand the focus is learning towards the new codex. So this is a list that is valid now. But I guess because the pre-orders were... Anyone who's been living under a rock, the pre-orders were announced today over on Warhammer Community. So basically that means next... Oh, there's a little video. I haven't watched the video. I looked at it on my phone and didn't actually see there was a video. That means next Saturday morning we'll be pre-ordering, and usually the pre-orders last 2 weeks. So we'll be pre-ordering on the 5th, so expect like the new all your new stuff will be coming on the 19th. I was going to make a video about this tomorrow. I just haven't. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It does look like this is not the upgrade. This is not the Blood Angels transfer sprue that was in the box, though. This actually looks like this is not the Blood Angels transfer sheet that was in the limited edition box. The one in the limited edition box was called a Death Company transfer sheet. This one actually looks quite good. There's some bits on here I haven't seen before. This skull is interesting. That'd be good on a dreadnought. I'm not entirely sure what you... these might work on tanks as well, actually. I might actually have to buy this. Because they don't sell these very often, so... But does it say give your Blood Angels a proper placing of 66 pieces? So maybe the upgrade sprue comes with the transfers? Is that what's happening? This upgrade sprue kind of blows, though. It makes no sense. That, you know, I was talking to Mark and Tony about this, and I was like, what is the one weapon... What is the one weapon that every single character and every single model already comes with for Blood Angels? Could it be a chainsword? So why don't we put a fucking super generic chainsword in the upgrade sprue that doesn't even have a blood drop on it or doesn't have anything on it? It's just a total bog standard chainsword. It's not like the new Death Company needed an extra power fist that they didn't come with or anything. This chainsword... rage. But yeah, so okay, so this list is valid for now. It's valid until the 18th, because that's when probably we're going to get our new points. Hello Phil, good evening. The chainsword has a cool purity seal on it. Phil, get out. You know where the door is. You just it's got a purity seal on it. You're telling me that you don't have purity seals we could stick on a chainsword? Okay. So he done Blade Guard Ancient, Captain of the Jump Pack, Dante, the Judasaur, Lamartes, Sangre... Holy characters! Wow, okay. He made 4-1 with this. This is good, though. 200, 390... 510. This is another 600 and... Yeah, this is a 650 650 points in characters. Okay, maybe what I said earlier I was wrong. Phil, thanks so much for the gifted sub. Shouldn't do that, man. You're too generous, Phil. Honestly, you are too generous. Thank you so much. I have awoken. 650 points of characters, and he went 4-1. That's good, because I feel like that's way... And he came 4th out of 54, so I feel like that's way too many characters. He's the best Blood Angels player in South Africa? Okay, good to know. 10 Assault Intercessors with the jump packs times 2. I actually don't like Assault Intercessors in 10s, because you actually have to give up a Power Fist to have them in 10s. You run them as 2 5s, you get an extra Power Fist, but I'm assuming you probably attach Sangre Priest to them, so... thank you, Phil. How did you even remember it was my birthday, man? That's very kind of you. We've got the Blade Guard with the Judasaur. Yep, we've got... Someone was asking about how many Death Company to run earlier. Here's the number. You run a 10, you run 2 5s. I guess you've got Lamartes leading the 10. It would be nice to have another chaplain in the list, but I guess it's not a hill I'm going to die on. You've got a single gladiator lancer, and then you've got double scouts. It's actually kind of funny because we often recommend, how do you gift memberships? You click the... I think you click the dollar button, right? And I think there's a gift option. I think it's the same way. It's the same button you press to do a super chat. I mean, I think. Every release so far, the Combat Patrol came out at the same time. We are the only ones, so it looks like they're going to milk us. Here's the thing, though. Like, the Combat Patrol does come with 10 Assault Intercessors. Surely most Blood Angels players don't need Assault Intercessors now. I guess the thing is, by the time you buy 2 units of Sangre Guard and 1 Captain, you know, like, I think the new... Do you know what? I'll just, like... So, like, a Captain at the moment costs, like, just let me see, any old Captain. So Captain's like 25, 26 bucks apparently. And like Blade Guard, I think. Blade Guard are like 37, right? So it's going to be like, I think Sangre Guard are going to be 37 plus 26. So like you're going to be 100 for 6 Sangre Guard and the new Captain. And a Combat Patrol costs 100. So I guess... if you get the Combat Patrol, you're essentially getting the 10 Assault Intercessors for free. I think for me, if I got 10 Assault Intercessors, I think I would honestly just sell them on eBay because at last count I had 60 unbuilt Assault Intercessors because every box comes with them. So I guess you could just sell... Oh, they actually... I was going to say... I think 5 of them sell for 16 bucks. Yeah. So you could maybe get 30 bucks back selling the 10 Assault Intercessors. What do you think is going to be the optimal number of Sangre Guard to run? At the moment, if they stay at 300 points, Meticulous Chaos, it's going to be 6. If they get a little bit of a point drop, it might be 12. I would like to see a little bit of a point drop. I think 50 points per model is kind of crazy. All the guys that just got gifted memberships from Phil, by the way, you guys are more than welcome to join our Discord. We have a members-only room, which Phil has just given you a month of access to. So there, I'll put the Discord link into the chat. Oh, you get 2 upgrade sprues in the Combat Patrol as well? Yeah, so that's a tough one then. What I'd probably do for now then is stick your current 32mm Sangre Guard models, stick them on 40mm bases and wait for the Combat Patrol, because the Combat Patrol is going to save you a bunch of money, I guess. It's a little bit annoying if they are going to like space out the releases. Okay, on this list then, I guess personally I think 650 points in characters is pretty crazy. The Assault Intercessors with Sangre Priests are very strong, but we're not going to be able to do that anymore. 10 Death Company are still strong. Is John Lennon going Angelic Host or Liberate Assault Group? Do you know? I mean, I've been winning games with 6 Sangre Guard. I don't know if I want to go much higher than that. 2 units of Scouts. You know, I actually really don't like a single Lancer. But, I mean, I guess this list did very well. 4th out of 54. I guess Games Workshop felt the Sangre Priest with the jump pack and the Assault Intercessors was just too good. Yeah, I watched a stream where Jack Harpster said that he was probably going to do like 18 Sangre Guard as well, but those guys play a much heavier melee game than I do, I guess. What's the purpose of the Blade Guard Ancient? It means if the Blade Guard ever get battle shocked, they still have 1 OC, right? But you're right, actually, the Blade Guard Ancient cannot attach to the Blade Guard if the Judiciar is attached. So unless he's just he is like the cheapest character. So unless he's just like a 45-point model to stand on an objective and try and score some points. If they're trying to drip feed us, then there's hope for Seth, the Jump Priest, and Librarian Jed. I doubt we're going to see any more Blood Angels the rest of the edition. Wasn't the upgrade sprue the old one on the Combat Patrol? I doubt they're going to do the old... And the new Combat Patrol, I'd be very surprised if they did the old upgrade sprue, Chris. I imagine they're going to do the new one. Yeah, I mean, a list like this, I feel like... I think 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs, without having the Priest now, they lose quite a bit of their strength, right? They lose their AP, they lose their Feel No Pain. 5-man Death Company, we're yet to see how well they do in the new detachment. I don't know too many people that have been running 5. Most people have pivoted into the 10-man Death Companies. Obviously, they were good in the old detachment. Blade Guard are still really good. I guess Dante was attached to one of these units of Jump Assault Intercessors. I feel like that's going to be unlikely now. It's much more likely Dante's going to be attached to Sangre Guard. So this is a cool list for now, but I guess its time in the sun is setting. I'll throw out a video tomorrow night talking about the Combat Patrol for... Sorry, not the Combat Patrol. I'll throw out a video tomorrow night talking about wherever the damn Games Workshop article is. So I'll have that. I'll do that tomorrow. But yeah, it is a bit worrying if we're not getting the Combat Patrol, I guess. Is the codex that's coming out tomorrow any different from the one that was in the limited edition box? I think it'll just have a different cover. There'll be no rules changes. There'll be nothing. It's essentially the same book. You just got it early, right? If I was in charge, what would be in the Combat Patrol? Not Assault. I don't think anyone needs Assault Intercessors. This is like the 3rd box they've been in now, right? Why the fuck do I have 60 of them? Because they were Indomitus. I don't know why I've got so many Assault Intercessors actually, but I've got crap loads of them. What other books did they? I mean, 6 Sangre Guard are fine in the Combat Patrol, and the upgrade sprues are fine. You know, an Impulsor might have been good in the Combat Patrol. I think most people are going to want 10 to 15 Jump Assault Intercessors. Regular Intercessors on foot, I feel like we see 5 of them in a list, usually max. You need them if you're a new player. Yeah, well, you do, but you probably only need 5 of them, right? Not many people need more than 5. Not many people are fielding more than 5 Assault Intercessors. I guess maybe new players could field 10. But if you are, it's kind of a rock and a hard place, right? Like, if you're going to run Assault Intercessors, you need Impulsors, right? You don't run Assault Intercessors without Impulsors, or Assault Intercessors on foot, like, i.e. the ones without jump backs. You don't run them without Impulsors. So, yeah, it's 9:30, guys, so I have to go. This is what happens on a Sunday show. We sort of go from just after 8 till 9:30. We did 7 lists tonight, so that's good. We'll try and do 7 again next week. There's a lot of, like, when the stream ends, if you want to leave a submission for next week, you can do that. Just put it in the comment section for the stream when it ends. I hope you guys all have a great Sunday evening. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's nice to always see you. I'll be back. I'll put out that video tomorrow night. I'll have a video out. I'll either be live finishing the Salt Intercessors painting on Wednesday night, or I'm going to try and see if I can get a live game back on Wednesday. So we'll try and play live on Wednesday. There'll be a tactics video on Friday, and then I'll be live next... Do you know what? I won't be live next Saturday because I have a wedding. So this week, I guess, Wednesday, Friday, and then the army show next Sunday. So have a good night. Thanks so much. Please like the stream as well if you didn't do that before you leave, and please subscribe if you haven't done that as well. Have a great weekend. Don't work too hard on Monday morning tomorrow. Yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow. I got to go to work. Oh. I was going to say, hopefully it will be a quiet day at work. Have a great evening. Bye. Brian, thanks so much, dude. Very generous. Do appreciate it.
Ryan Nelson donated $10 via Super Chat. Happy birthday, John.